Have you ever been scrolling online and just seen something weird? An image that's a little too strange, a post that feels a bit off, or an ad that's just bizarrely generic? Well, let's get into it because there's a name for this flood of low quality content, and believe me, it is quietly changing the internet as we know it. It all sort of blew up in the public eye with this the Willie's chocolate experience in Scotland. The ads, which were all AI generated, promised this magical, candy filled wonderland. But what families actually got was a nearly empty warehouse with like a few sad looking props. This huge gap between the AI promise and the grim reality, it's the perfect way to understand what we're talking about today. So yeah, there's a name for this stuff, and it's a term that has really stuck. It's called AI slop. Let's break down exactly what that means. Okay, so at its core, AI slop is really about two main things: an insane amount of volume and incredibly low quality. It's all that content being churned out by AI, and you can spot it a mile away. The telltale signs are just how much of it there is, and the obvious lack of any real human effort or creativity. It's not made to inform you or inspire you, it's made to fill space and chase clicks. And this quote right here, it just nails it. It's digital clutter. Think of it like junk mail for the internet. It's all about speed and quantity over, well, over everything else, especially substance and quality. And you won't believe this, but this isn't some niche internet slang we're talking about. The term absolutely blew up in 2024, so much so that Merriam-Webster actually crowned slop its word of the year. I mean, that alone tells you just how big of a deal this has become in a ridiculously short amount of time. All right, so we get what it is, but where is all this slop actually showing up? The short answer, pretty much everywhere. Let's look at some of the wildest examples. You have probably seen something exactly like this, even if you had no idea what it was. These bizarre, nonsensical images like Shrimp Jesus just flooded platforms like Facebook. Now, the goal here isn't art. It's pure engagement farming. The weirder the image, the more people comment and share, and every one of those clicks translates directly into ad money for the creator. And what's really driving this whole thing is this weird little economic engine. You've got creators, a lot of times in countries with lower average incomes, who can make pretty good money by targeting American audiences, because that's where the ad rates are the highest. So they're using tools like ChatGPT with these super direct and sometimes, grammatically interesting prompts to just engineer images that are designed to go viral. But it's not just random people on the internet. Oh no. Major global brands are getting in on this too. And they're often getting a lot of heat for it. Ads like this one have been called out for just feeling completely soulless and generic. And you gotta ask, why would a huge brand with a massive budget do this? It's probably a misguided attempt to cut costs. But the result is something that just lacks any human touch. And sometimes it even has those classic AI errors. This problem is also creeping into our entertainment. Streaming services have literally been caught using AI to create thumbnails for classic movies, and the results are just absurd. Like, the thumbnail for the classic film 12 Angry Men ended up with about 19 men in it, and none of them were even from the movie. It's not just lazy, it feels kind of disrespectful to the art itself. And of course, politics is another huge area where this is all happening. AI-generated images get used all the time in political messaging, often as a form of shitposting. That low-effort content that's just designed to get a reaction and farm engagement without any real substance behind it. And if you think this stuff stops at social media, think again. This might be the most shocking one yet. Slop is infiltrating the world of science. This image of a rat with completely bizarre, anatomically impossible features was actually published in a peer-reviewed scientific journal. The paper was eventually retracted, but it's just a stunning example of how even fields that rely on total accuracy are being affected. So this isn't just about weird pictures online. This digital clutter is starting to spill over into the real world, and it's having some tangible and sometimes pretty chaotic consequences. Take this absolutely wild story out of Dublin. An AI-generated event listing for a huge Halloween parade went viral. The only problem? The parade didn't exist. It was completely made up. But thousands of people, including families with kids all dressed up in costumes, showed up for an event that was basically just an algorithmic ghost. And this is creeping into our jobs, too. A Harvard Business Review study actually coined the term work slop. And it's for exactly what you think it is. AI-generated content in the office that looks polished on the surface, but is totally empty. No real substance, no critical thought. And listen, this isn't some minor annoyance. The study found that a staggering 40% of employees had received work slop from a coworker. And the impact is real. On average, it took them 2 full hours to fix it, clarify it, or just completely redo that shoddy AI work. That is a massive drain on productivity. So the big question is, how is so much of this stuff being created so fast? Well, the answer is a new generation of automation tools that have basically turned slop creation into a factory assembly line. At the heart of it all are these automation tools, and a lot of them are as simple as a browser extension. So instead of a person making one image at a time, these tools let a user generate hundreds or even thousands of pieces of AI content in one batch, often with just a single click. So here's a quick look at how a tool called AutoMeta works. A user can upload a whole folder of images, import a simple text file with hundreds of different prompts, and then the tool just goes. It automatically pairs everything up, feeds it to the AI, and downloads the finished videos. It's content creation on an industrial scale with almost zero human input. And the prompts themselves are often just as automated. Creating them is as simple as mixing and matching from a menu, right? You pick a shot type, a style, a subject, some lighting, and boom. It's this recipe-like approach that just pumps out endless variations of generic, uninspired content that all kind of feels the same. So, after seeing how it's made and where it's spreading, from our social media feeds all the way to science labs, we really have to ask the bigger question. What does all of this mean for our future online? So let's wrap this all up. We've got AI slop, this tidal wave of cheap, high-volume, fake content. We've seen how it's popping up everywhere, from your social feeds to scientific journals, and it's all driven by really simple economic incentives and these powerful, easy-to-use tools. And maybe most importantly, we've seen how this digital mess is having very real consequences for our time, our productivity, and ultimately our trust in what we see online. And that brings us to the final critical thought. As our digital world gets more and more saturated with this low-quality, AI-generated noise, it starts to eat away at the very foundation of online trust. The real danger isn't just one weird image of shrimp. It's a future where what's authentic is buried under a mountain of what's fake. So the question we're all left with is, in an ocean of AI slop, how will we find what's real?